30 for 30, Niki LAUDA. Niki LAUDA's story is one of passion, desperation, devastation, but most importantly, triumph. Niki LAUDA was born on February 22, 1949 in Vienna, Austria. He was also born into a very wealthy family, with his grandfather being the president of the family business, the Austrian Industrialists Association. It was expected that the future generations would go into the family business, but Niki decided it wasn't for him and wanted to go racing. Even still, the sheer wealth of the LAUDA family brought him into the racing scene with a Mini Cooper and the 1968 hill climb. This is where he got his first taste for winning, when he placed second in the race. This almost winning experience was so impactful that he even skipped college to pursue his passion for racing. His family, especially his grandfather, did not take this well, so they cut him off by not giving him any more money to fund his racing dream and future career. Because of this, he took out tons of loans and even parlayed his insurance policy just to be able to fund his racing career. After the 1968 hill climb, he would move on to Formula V, which was very popular in the 60s and 70s for young racers to get recognized and get some racing experience. Only 1 year later, Niki wanted a more significant challenge and wanted to join a Formula 2 team. Only 1 year later, with the 1972 season approaching, Niki wanted to up the challenge even more by joining a Formula 1 team. Once he got into Formula 1, it was not all sunshine and rainbows. The car that Niki got was very uncompetitive. It was much slower in the straights and could not handle nearly as well as the others. So even though it would increase his debt even more than before, he went to a different Formula 1 team called BRM, in the hopes that it would be better than he had. But he'd be sorely disappointed to find out that the BRM car wasn't much better than the one he had before. But one of his teammates, Clay, was very impressed with how Niki would work on and improve the car to extract as much performance as he could out of it. He was so impressed, in fact, when Clay got recruited by Ferrari, he wanted Niki to come with him. With the new blindingly quick, flat 12-powered 312 B3 74 and Niki at the wheel, with his excellent driving skills and precision, of the 16 Grand Prix races in 1974, LAUDA qualified on the pole for 8 and won 2. 1976 would bring on the most challenging year of competition that Niki has ever faced and went up against, in the form of James Hunt.
I have as much as you can have to a racing car. I think you should know as well that sometimes there are things happening which you can't calculate, which you can't think of.
This is where disaster would strike for Niki. On lap 2 of the Nürburgring, he lost control of his car, which spun into the wall and immediately gulfed into flames. Due to how long he was in the burning car, the fire burned off most of his face and ears and scarred his lungs because of breathing in the smoke from the flames.
I know what it's about having had an accident is that when you have an accident, physically you can be alright fairly quickly if you have good doctors, but mentally is the problem. To force yourself to get back to the style of driving you did before, that means to reach all the limit or sometimes even be able to go over the limit.
With his burns barely healed, he went back into the racing scene, only missing 6 weeks and 3 races. With the season coming to a close, it was very close between Niki and Hunt, with LAUDA winning in Brazil, which led to another victory in South Africa, with Hunt right behind him in points. In Spain, Hunt won, but followed closely by LAUDA in second place. Spa and Monaco, LAUDA won. When it came to the race in Sweden, LAUDA came in third place and Hunt came in fifth. Later in France, LAUDA's engine failed, so Hunt could claim the first place spot. Brands Hatch Circuit, Hunt won the race in the spare car, but 2 months later, FIA disqualified him, which gave LAUDA the first place. Going into the last race in Japan, LAUDA had a lead on Hunt. Still, due to the terrible weather, LAUDA backed out of the race, which cemented his reputation as one of the most fiercely intelligent and independent men to ever drive in Formula 1, but gave Hunt the championship win by 1 point over LAUDA, 69-70. LAUDA returned to Ferrari for the 1977 season, but his relationship with Enzo was fraying. LAUDA won 3 races and took his second driving championship, but Formula 1 was changing. The radical Lotus 78 brought the ground effects era into the series, and the 312 Series Ferrari wasn't likely to be competitive going forward. So LAUDA took up Bernie's invitation and joined Alfa for 1978. He had his moments with Alpha, including a victory with the BT-46, with his fan that sucked the card to the road. But he was mostly frustrated, so LAUDA would finally retire after the 1979 season. Even though he retired, he would leave a legacy with 3 championship wins, 25 wins, 54 podiums, and 420.5 points. He would also be an inspiration to others to never stop pursuing their passion.